part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today we are kicking off our summer coverage of the X-Men films. We're doing every single one. Not the New Mutants, but every other one. And we are starting with the very first X-Men movie, dare I say, the one that started it all off. We're going into X-Men, a.k.a. Marvel Entertainment Group. That credit dazzled me. Joining me on this journey are two exciting guests. I'm extremely grateful that they're here. Excelsior. My first guest is an actor, writer, comedian, Sun fan, the 7 Seconds or Less era, and he's also a known recovering alcoholic. Please welcome to your ears, Michael Skarstan. Hello, Michael.
Hey guys. It works if you work it, you know?
Yeah. Michael, I think this is the first time we're hanging out socially, but there's still work to be done. And I like that.
Of course. I don't have any relationships that aren't tangentially related to something that's a comedy thing. My girlfriend, we met at an improv group.
Ooh, that's fun. This is not the place to talk about that, but thank you. In the second seat, man, I just finished directing this tiny dancer in a short film. They're an actor, a comedian, and a known New Yorker. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's Stephanie Branco. Hey, Stephanie.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. I just did a little workout class, you know.
Oh my
Pump
gosh.
it up for the summer.
Yeah, you got to pump up for the summer. Got to get those pumps in. You guys, we're talking about X-Men, the X-Men movies. Michael Skarstan, what is your relationship to X-Men? Yeah, specifically X-Men, not really the Marvel thing, but these X-Men movies.
So the X-Men movies, of all superhero movies, these are actually probably my favorite series. And I didn't realize until I was going in to watch last night that I've seen most of the X-Men movies already. And yeah, I think they're great. I had a huge crush on Anna Paquin when I was a kid. I had a huge crush on Iceman as a kid. I thought Pyro was really cool.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think these are more so than like the new era Marvel movies. I think they're just better movies, or might be. I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, I really like the X-Men movies. I re-downloaded the X-Men video game last night. I was like, I want to get back into X-Men.
Wait, which one?
X-Men, the official game. It's based off the third The Last Stand, or in between X2 and The Last Stand. Is you play as Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and I think Storm is the third character.
Best ones.
So, yeah,
cool. Thank you, Michael. Stephanie, your relationship to the X-Men movies. Do you like them? First time watching?
I love X-Men, my favorite. Honestly, I too went to a specialized school. Just like the X-Men. So
okay.
Not in Westchester. It was in Manhattan, in Times Square.
A school in Times Square?
A school in Times Square. So
Wow.
I felt very connected as a 10-year-old watching these X-Men. I'm like, oh my God, I'm special too. I'm going to a performing arts school. I'm special.
Yeah, your mutant ability was dance.
Yeah, exactly. Trying a little dance.
Her body moves in rhythm.
Yeah, wow. The box step. That was my favorite. The box step. But yeah, no, I love X-Men. I felt like before Batman came out, X-Men was my like, oh my God, I love it.
For sure.
And I had a huge crush on Anna Paquin too. And Cyclops. And I rewatched it and I was like, wait, that's not my type anymore. Cyclops.
Oh my God. That's been a thing for me recently, watching these movies. Like, I used to like this and now I don't. Yeah, I love Cyclops as well. Watch me convince you that Cyclops and Wolverine are boyfriends. Literally.
Okay.
Who notice how no one said Jean Grey. No one said Jean Grey. None of you said her name, and there's a reason. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm rushing through the intro because I just want to get into this movie. Okay, here we go.
Oh, let's do it.
X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer. He sucks, and I'm sorry, but let's just say it at the top. We don't want to meet you. Stop calling me.
Yeah, so we're not going to go through the 2 paragraphs in the Wikipedia article.
No, let's skip those. Go to Wikipedia, read about it. He sucks, and his presence is felt. Let's go. Michael Skarstan, you are our resident Holocaust expert. So I want to go to
Yep.
you with this opening scene in Germany. Authentic?
Yeah, I think it's pretty on point. I think this is, from what I hear from the tomes that I'm sifting through,
Mhm.
yeah, this is this is typically what happened. I thought it was interesting that there's no swastikas in the and when I first saw this, because it came out in a pre 9/11 world, and so I
Yeah.
was pretty young. I was like 10, and I didn't get it like that was the Holocaust the first time I watched it. I was just like, they're taking this woman to prison. um,
Yeah. I think I was in the same boat. I don't think I realized what was happening. I understood there was a separation of family, but I don't think I understood why.
right.
I thought, oh, they're so poor. They can't afford to go with their children.
When I was thinking about this movie, I remembered vividly this opening scene, and it's such a great opening scene to like a superhero movie. I mean, killer. I thought it's so dark and sad, and it just opens there. I mean, the first like 15 minutes are just like trauma, trauma, trauma.
Oh, yeah. Because I posit because we're not in the superhero glut that we are now. So I think this is like, how are we going to get film snobs to get into this superhero idea? Let's start in the Holocaust. Let's show families being torn apart. Let's show bigotry, all that fun stuff to kind of like get people on board. Stephanie, greatest actress on the call right now. What did you think of this scene where young Magneto is like crying for his mom and then like the gnarled fence? Did you just breeze through it, or did it affect you in some
No,
way?
it definitely affected me. For a second, I did. I was like, wait, is this the Holocaust? Took me a
They really need
second.
to put a sign on those walls.
Yeah, it's like this is Poland 1944. I watched it with subtitles, and it said speaking an Eastern European language.
Hmm.
It's like, hmm,
The main Polish?
Polish. Yeah, no, I really like that first scene. Very strong. Great extras.
Best extras in the business. No one does it better. But it's like, I'm so passionate about this movie. I'm realizing it's just such a good job because it like really defines Magneto or Eric and like his frame of mind because that happened to him in his past and you can never erase that. So like no matter what, again, his lover, Charles Xavier says, it's like his mind will never be changed because he went through the Holocaust. And Professor X, you don't know shit.
I also like, not to jump ahead,
Please.
but just the flashbacks to Logan being tested on, and that's something that was unfortunately it was something that was going on during the Holocaust. So that was a sad reminder.
Yeah. We get some credits. Oh, we got some credits for that. The reason I said AKA Marvel Entertainment Group, did you clock? It's weird for me coming from like doing all these Marvel movies where it's like 20th Century Fox presents in association with Marvel Entertainment Group. Like these idiots. It's just before Marvel was this big juggernaut that it is. Fun to see. Michael, you look like you want to say something.
Oh no, this was before Spider-Man, after Blade, right? Like this was
This is after Blade, yeah.
yeah. So this was kind of before we're in this. I mean, it's very much before like even the early superhero boom with like Spider-Man and Batman. I think that's pretty neat. I like that it looks like a movie too.
Isn't that nice?
There's like lighting, not everything is like super blown out. I just think it was great. I was so excited to rewatch this last night.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Our first non-Holocaust scene, we get this chyron that says the not too distant future, which I jokingly said, like, don't think you're escaping this. This is not far from where you are. It's gonna happen, little mutant. Michael Skarstan, our researcher, Michael, the producer, he found out that we researched your first kiss, and it was a very similar situation to Rogue's first kiss. So how did this scene work for you, having gone through a similar thing?
I mean, it was very visceral. You know, Ariel Summers and I in the 7th grade were in the hallway, and
Ariel Summers. Wow.
yeah, I started kissing her, and then she just collapses on the floor, and
Mhm.
all the teachers were like, "What did you do to her? What happened to her?" And I just started crying, and I tried to run away, but I didn't have any. I didn't have any special powers. I just eaten strawberries, and she was definitely allergic to strawberries. So yeah.
Damn.
And then I've been averse to physical intimacy ever since.
Your girlfriend's a lucky woman.
Mhm.
Yeah, sucks to be Rogue. I think that's kind of the theme for her character. Kind of sucks to be her. I'm gonna say that you both. So Stephanie and Michael, you both said you had crushes on. I almost said Rose McGowan, Anna Paquin. Anna Paquin. I don't like this performance of Rogue. I grew up with the cartoon character of Rogue, who was a little bit more fun, sassy Southern girl, and this is just a little too like. Don't touch. I mean, you can't touch her, but she's just too willowy and wispy, and she whispers too much, and I just want to like tell her to speak up. That's how I feel. Sorry.
I think that's fair. I think little young, like sad boy Michael was like, I identify with someone who also feels different and
Yeah.
whatever. And I like the white hair and like yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's it. I didn't rewatching it. I was thankfully more attracted to all the adults in the movie last night. But as a kid,
producer Michael, call the police. Thank you.
yeah, me and Brian Singer are what you just call kindred spirits.
Don't bring him up. No. And just like that, we're gonna end right there. Thank you, Michael. Stephanie Branco, you recently spoke before the U.S. Senate. We've read. So when Jean Grey was doing this and speaking about mutant rights, did you identify? Was this similar to you? Also, Stephanie, did you notice the set and how like there was that moving wall with the TV screen? Is this what the Senate looks like?
It does. It really does.
Okay.
The budget is really high up there. I basically am there like every weekend.
Oh,
And,
wow. Just to hang out?
Yeah, just hang out, just to like make sure that the walls are moving and the tech is up.
Long commute.
Yeah, but Jean, she had a great speech. She really was passionate, to the point,
Stephanie, this is a very serious question. Femke Janssen, who plays Jean Grey, is she serving?
No.
It's a yes or no question, Steph. Okay, no, thank you. Thank you.
But I did see her walk her dog in the West Village. And
she better walk that fucking dog.
She was serving. And
when she was walking her dog?
Yes.
You should have ran up to her. Where was this 23 years ago? We needed it, Jean.
She served quite a bit on Nip Tuck. She was
again, and I would say she served on How to Get Away with Murder. How to Get Away with Murder. Nip Tuck, walking her dog. Why wasn't it here?
Also in Taken, she served.
She took.
She took.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm not impressed with Jean Grey, a character that I went into this movie when I first watched it really liking. And then after this one, and oh boy, we're going to get to the other two. She just is so sauceless to me.
Doesn't she sauce it up in the third one?
She tries.
She like rouse marinara sauce in the third one.
Listeners, tune into our
It's
coverage.
It's Rao's. It's not Rouse. Sorry, it's Rao's.
Tune into our third coverage of X-Men: The Last Stand to see if Femke Janssen finally serves us something. But here right now, this is open to anybody. Senator Kelly, our sub-villain of the movie, he's railing. He's like, I hate these mutants. I heard they could read your minds. That's disgusting. Michael Skarstan, Senator Kelly, favorite character?
I actually really like Senator Kelly. Who's that?
Why?
Who's that actor? Is that Bruce Davison? I have no clue.
I believe that sounds right. He played a doctor on Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, I love Battlestar. Not my favorite like characters, but I think the performance is really good. I think it's very. I was going to say prescient because that's just so much of the conversation we're having today, but it's not really prescient. Right. It's just like the conversation we've been having forever. It's like this other type of person is what's killing our country, and if we let this other type of person in, then it's gonna kill our kids or whatever. I mean, overall, the casting in this movie is fucking great. Short of Halle Berry, I don't really love Halle.
We're going to talk about Halle. Yeah.
But you know, I just thought the casting was spot on, or not. I mean, all the X-Men are like fucking hotties, but all the other people are just like normals, and we love a normal in a movie.
It lets us know who the hot people are when there are normal people.
Yeah.
Stephanie Branco, we get this little scene. Well, first of all, I just want to address what Michael was saying. I completely agree with like how prescient it is, but also we've always been doing this. And I think that's what makes the X-Men story just work so much. It's like, it's literally, you are against these people, but they also have superpowers. So it also is like, yeah, they are kind of dangerous because one of them is a literal human toad. I don't want that around. But, you know, this scene was fascinating, especially like, I feel like when I was younger, I kind of ignored this scene because it was like adults talking, yawn, we're Cyclops. But now that I understand government and law, I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And the parallels are so clear.
Oh, so clear.
So clear.
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz or Mitch McConnell. I know you listen. Sorry, podcast is getting political. Stephanie Branco, talk to me about. So you were the acting coach for this film. We found out. So what was it like working with Sir Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart? Rivals, friends. What was it like to work with them?
It was really nice. Their bond, but we did have to work on their acting.
I know.
I like gave them some techniques. I wrote a book that they read and they were like, okay, you changed my life.
You wrote a book.
A book on just one book on acting that they both, I think after they read my book, they completely changed and are incredible actors now because of me.
Yes. So then how did you like this scene and how it turned out?
I loved it. It took a lot of different takes, but we finally got the shot. And I don't know. I would change the name from Bryan Singer and put my name as the director.
I would love that. I would really love that. But yeah, we get Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart kind of establishing this Martin Luther King, Malcolm X thing, which, you know, it's been said. It's been said, but that's what it is. And again, I'm feeling the love vibes here. You can't tell me that these old men have not fucked. You cannot tell me that. Both in life and in this movie. Mm-hmm. They have. Okay. Michael Skarstan, can you talk to me about Laughlin City, where the cage fighting is happening? I found in my research you love to cage fight, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll bring different implements, animals in the cage with me.
Animals, really?
Wow. Yeah. We'll just have like a pocket badger, toss it at the guy. Yeah, and I also when I do cage fight, I like to think that the opponent is a worst version of myself, so that I can finally fulfill my fantasy of destroying myself in battle, and that's how I win.
Michael, what I love about you, Michael, is that I always learn a lot about you when I never ask, and that's really nice.
I mean, I'm an open book.
Yeah, you're an open book. You're an open book that no one opened, and you're like, how did this get open? But It's just open.
Yeah, the first thing I say to people is I have intimacy problems when I shake their hand, and I go, "Don't hold too long. Don't hold my hand too long."
Listeners, he has indeed said this to me. He has absolutely said this.
I go only 2 fingers. That's as much as I'm good for right now. Just a 2-finger handshake.
I'm so sorry. I need everyone to answer this. How did you feel when Hugh Jackman turned the fuck around?
This thing?
Oh.
Yeah, when he turned around and you saw him in all his animalistic glory. Stephanie Branco, touching your shoulders.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, it was hot.
Hot.
I was like, wow, is it a full moon? Because I'm about to howl. That's the saying, right?
That's what you're saying, yes. Awoo, awooga. Thank God for Hugh Jackman. Thank God for Hugh Jackman.
him turning around, I was just like, oh my God, it's been 23 years. He looks so young.
So young.
Wow.
I mean, he's super hot. Like, come on. And the chest hair. There's so much chest hair in this movie. And I feel like these
Speak on it.
These Gen Z Marvel superheroes, they're all waxed and preened, you know.
Disgusting.
And none of those little hairs popping out the nips, you know. That's what we need. And he's also he looks natty too. I don't think a steroid has touched that man's body. Yeah.
Natty, short for natural. I'm learning
natural.
This. Okay.
Yeah.
Natty indeed. Absolutely. Yeah. That I did notice that as well. I was like, oh, this is a real, like, this is the body we can all achieve, without any like extra help from chemicals. Beautiful. And then Michael Skarstan, the Rogue Wolverine relationship. Were you buying it? Was it too romantic? Was it just
I watched this with my girlfriend last night, and like they're just, I don't know, we're not supposed to talk about BS, but he just loves an intimate like two shot, like just like two people really close. And I mean, I buy it in the sense that like this is an hour and a half movie, and we gotta give this broken man a reason to join up with a team. But I mean, the train scene, which we'll get to, was like pretty like, this is pretty, you guys are shooting this pretty tight.
Pretty tight.
But in the beginning, the first couple scenes with them, I do buy. Like,
yeah.
You know.
And Stephanie, how about you? Rogue and Wolverine, close or not close enough?
I mean, if she was 18, I think let's do it a little closer. But 17.
Even 18 is too young for me.
Yeah. I was just feeling, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, they're so intense and passionate about each other. I was thinking if this was, if TikTok existed, Logan would have been the daddy that Pedro Pascal is right now. Like the Joel and Ellie relationship. I was like, whoa, this is that, but in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, very, very intimate and close, and I need to save her, and she has these powers. We need to get her back home.
Oh yeah, and yes, okay, yes, I hate it, but yes, because it's like, I think from her side, I buy it because teens be crushing on older men. I did it. We all did it. Both Michaels on the call did it, but I feel like my rationale in my brain was like, okay, he doesn't talk to people much, so he only has intense conversations with people. He only leans in close because I think that's how people who don't normally interact, like Michael Skarstan, would act with other people. Just too much, too soon. Michael, are you burnt? Have I burnt you?
Constantly, perpetually. Yeah. But that's, again, that's what makes me like you. Just hurt me,
And that's how I make my friends. And I'll say this as well. This is a thought I had. I think Hugh Jackman was huge for superhero movies becoming mainstream, because I think Hugh Jackman was the first time, I think we all, and dare I say the last time, we all collectively agreed as a comic book community that the movies got it right. Like, he is so Wolverine. Like, I can't imagine anyone else doing this.
Can we talk about the other people that were almost Wolverine?
Please tell me. I demand you tell me now.
Okay. So this one goes back like pre-Bryan Singer, like James Cameron and Catherine Bigelow were going to direct a version of this in the 80s.
Catherine Bigelow?
Yeah. And the man they wanted to play Wolverine, the rippling anti-hero protagonist, was Bob Hoskins.
No. Googling him right now. I already know it's a no.
Yeah, he played Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
No, the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is who they wanted to play Wolverine. And then, so that didn't happen. And then after that, they wanted Glenn Danzig, the lead singer of the Misfits, I believe.
These names. Okay.
Not an actor, just like a big, scary looking dude. And he was like, no. And then it was Vigo. They asked Vigo.
Kind of see it
for Danzig. Okay. Yeah. Then they asked Viggo Mortensen, and Vigo's kids were like, you're not Wolverine. So they said, he was like, I'm not going to do it. And then Russell Crowe actually was like, I'm doing an Australian accent now. I can't do it. I recommend my friend Hugh Jackman. And then they gave Hugh Jackman the part 3 weeks into production.
Wow. The one good thing Russell Crowe ever did.
And Noah.
Well, Michael Skarstan, you just triggered a rule on Podcast 616. If you ever mention the movie Noah, we got to take a break. So with the new rule, if you ever mention the movie Noah, we have to take a break. Producer Michael, write that down. That's fact. That's canon. So when we come back, we're going to finally get to Act 2 of this movie and talk about Storm, Cyclops, and, Toad, and my girl, Mystique. Blink and you'll miss her. We'll be right back. Podcast 616 will be back in a minute. Welcome, everyone, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
And we're back with these guests. Anyway, we're officially back. Okay, Stephanie Branco, let me set the scene for you. It's snowing. It's cold. You're trapped in an RV. Your driver just got thrown through a window. Then this saber-tooth man comes up to get you. I guess my real question is, who would you rather be saved by, Storm or Cyclops?
I think Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Storm.
Why you say that?
I like how she enters the scene. Like, she might just scoop me up. Cool eyes, the hair. I want like a hot savior. And Cyclops, I don't know.
Record scratch. Are you saying Cyclops is not hot?
No.
You're saying James? Wow. Corny Collins from Hairspray. James Marston. Have you seen 27 Dresses?
27. Yeah, I know.
James Marston is hot. James Marston's hot. Cyclops is not. Cyclops seems like he would save you, and then he would be like, you really shouldn't be driving out here in the snow like this. Like he would blame you for being imperiled. Exactly.
Well. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. Well, no thank you. James Marston. Come on over. Michael Skarstan, you alluded earlier that you hated Halle Berry. Would you like to defend that statement?
I just, and Stephanie, you were the acting coach on this, so it was just like, just speak up, Halle. Like, use your voice. Yeah.
We were also working on a little accent at 58 minutes, and at the 58-minute mark, we were working on a different accent.
But just a whisper of an accent. Like, let's just.
We were working on different things.
This was such a thing. Like, I remember this. Like, they couldn't decide if she should have the African accent or not, and so they just went with like, I'm just gonna talk really quietly. It's like just talk quietly, so no one will know we didn't make up our minds.
Yeah, I mean, she looks great in every outfit. She looks great, but
all three of them.
And Halle she's a serviceable actress, I think, but just in this, it was just, and I don't know if it was written poorly and they just didn't give her a lot to work with, or this was kind of Monster Ball. What the fuck is that movie called?
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball.
Yeah.
And so I guess she kind of didn't have like the big pop to like bring people in, but yeah, was not brought in by her performance at all. I was like, who are you? What are you doing here?
It's one of the most powerful powers in the world. Michael, were you going outside when it was raining in LA for the last 3 weeks? Were you going outside?
Yes, I was dancing and asking Storm to smote me, challenging her.
I'll just say this: any issues with Storm, I blame on BS, and that's what I'm going to say about that. I think she gets more to do in the next two, but we'll see that when we get there. I want to take us to Professor Xavier's School for Extraordinary and Gifted Children
in Westchester.
Stephanie Branco, you're from that area of the world. Is this what Westchester looks like?
It does.
I've never been.
A lot of tutor homes, tutor schools. Just a lot of green.
A lot of green.
Diversity. A lot of diversity. Definitely a lot of diversity.
But yeah, Steffi, how did you enjoy this montage of children using powers and running on water, which I guess Jesus is a student?
Yeah, I just wanted to sign up. I wanted to sign up. I wanted to apply for a scholarship, their BIPOC scholarship, and see if I could get any funding for 10-year-old me,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see. Of course, Wolverine wakes up in the X lab underneath the school, chokes out Jean Grey, a great sign that they're going to be in love, and that begins their love triangle storyline, which I hate. I hate it. I hate Wolverine and Jean. But he goes around, and then Professor X is like, "Where the fuck are you going? I'm in your fucking head. I can read your mind, bitch." I don't know. If I had Professor X's power, I would have a little bit more fun of like, the fuck you think you're going? Don't go in there. That's mine. Stop touching that. Anybody else? The coffee's hitting me, producer Michael, just so, like I said it would. I'm losing my mind right now. Michael Skarstan, any thoughts on the scene? Or Stephanie, who looked like she was about to say something?
It reminded me of that mirror thing in a carnival. I like the effect of him like running around, but also just get to the point, Professor. Tell him what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any thoughts. It would be fun to fuck with people if you get in their heads, sing a earworm of a song in their brain and stuff like that. But I just don't get what his power is. He only shows like his true power once in this movie. I mean, you could talk in someone's brain, but when he takes over Sabretooth and Toad is really the only time he's really super like, you're like, oh, you're OP.
Yeah.
Overpowered.
Thank you. Yeah. I guess the idea with Professor X is that he's so powerful that he doesn't use his powers, which is kind of like, all right.
And he teaches physics.
Because why not?
Right. And that was the whole school problem is like a school for mutants. It's like, it feels like you need individualized plans for every single mutant. Like how does fire breather translate to like, I can make myself flat and go under doors, which I assume is a mutant power of some sort.
Paper girl.
Paper girl.
She turns into paper.
Yeah. It was cool. And then how are they funding this as well? How are they funding both? It's big.
It's a big school. Big old school. There's a classic scene. I just want to check in. Was this scene still funny when Wolverine's like, Cyclops, Storm, what do they call you? Wheels? Do we still laugh at that? Or is that ableist humor?
I did go, oh. And my girlfriend did go, can't say that anymore.
I love that that's your impression of your girlfriend. All right. Well,
I'll bring her in here. That's exactly her voice.
Too many people on the pod. All right. Okay, movie. We'll move past that. Let's go to, oh my gosh, she's here. Stephanie Branco. When you saw that little reptilian moment and Rebecca Romaine O'Connell now when she showed up, full ass Mystique, which I learned she's just fully naked. They've not yet. Her boobs are really jiggling in the scene. This helicopter scene. How did you feel, Stephanie?
Oh my gosh. I was jaw dropped. The best. I'm like,
The best
oh
jaw drop.
so talented. So talented. She's a pilot. She doesn't wear clothes.
That's true.
The talent.
The talent. She can be anything, anywhere, all at once.
Oh.
Mystique has entered the chat. They kidnap Senator Kelly. They take him to their cave-like lair. Where they're at, don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it. But it's a cave. Okay. Michael Skarstan, can you explain to me Magneto's master plan that you created?
Yeah. So his master plan is he enters into a centrifuge that pushes out radiation that can basically he wants to turn everyone into mutants so that we're all equal. And his first guinea pig is Senator Kelly.
Yes, turns him into a amphibian. He's just wet. He's cursed with being damp for the rest of his life.
He's jellyfish, isn't? It's jellyfish, right? That's I think that's the allusion to the little kid poking the jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish. But then the machine is like so unstable that even though it turns people into mutants, it just accelerates their mutation to the point where they'll all expire and die. Like Senator Kelly just burst into a puddle of water, ruining Storm's one and only talking scenes.
It's very body horror. It's very Videodrome. Who's that director? Yep, it's James Cameron. It's very body horror.
We get a little Mystique switcheroo over at the school with, I believe, Michael, you said your crush, Shawn Ashmore,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Drake, Iceman, who I love.
So sad. Such a sad scene. I remember watching it as a kid and being so sad. He's just like, nobody wants you here. You
Get
little
outta here.
freak. You should go. It'll be better off on your own. So sad.
Broke my heart.
Yeah, they really do a great job of making Rogue the freak of the freaks. Like, we can't even touch you. Get out of here.
Her running away is brilliant. It's just, yeah.
It's all elbows.
Listeners, Michael Skarstan has put his elbows where his shoulders are, and his hands are flapping every which way but loose, and he's running. Is this referring to
51 mark? I wrote it down.
Is that when she's running on the train or running away from the school?
Running away from the school.
Okay, yeah.
On the campus, just
yeah, a full flop of a run. Okay, let's just cut to. I'm really blazing through this plot because I'm going to tell you right now, listeners, I love this movie, but this is the part of the movie where it gets a little boring. She runs away. We're at the train station. Wouldn't you know it? I'm glad they didn't say this, but we all know this is the Brotherhood of Evil. These bad mutants. They show up. Toad shows off his tongue, rips off Cyclops' thing. And then I found out this movie trivia. Did you know when Sabretooth grabbed Storm by the throat, that actor really did slam her and into that glass, and she really did hit her head?
Oh my God, I had no idea.
And that's why they recasted him with Liev Schreiber for the X-Men Origin movie, I think, in my opinion. Okay, Stephanie Branco, you famously ran away from home. Producer Michael. Michael, you've been killing it with the research for this episode. You ran away from home, and Hugh Jackman did try to bring you back. Did you identify with that scene when Magneto went to go get her?
I did, especially because I was wearing a similar green trench.
Yeah, you're wearing it now, I believe.
Yeah. How does it look? So I did. So many emotions, so many emotions. Like, no one wants me, and then you're being saved, but then Magneto is hurting your friend.
Ugh.
And then, but also, I relate to this because then it's like, oh, I'm the one that's wanted, like Wolverine was like, oh, they want me. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
No. There's a new Supreme.
Exactly. So, just a lot of emotions, but mostly, I felt special when I ran away.
I mean, I feel people who run away often do feel special because they are. The Brotherhood of Evil takes Rogue. Michael, you already talked about this a little bit about Professor X using his power to kind of stop them, but he's a big old puss and he couldn't go through with it. When are you going to wake up, Charles? You have to kill Magneto. He won't stop. He'll never stop. Michael, any thoughts on that, Michael Skarstan?
Oh, I just love
That
the
non-question.
sequence. I agree that all this stuff before this is boring, but fucking seeing Magneto lift up 2 cars and then like flip the guns around on those guys, and then the pain of like pushing the bullet through that one cop's head, and I was like, do it, man. ACAB. Let's kill these pigs. Let them burn.
Let it be known.
But yeah, I mean, I think, and that's why Magneto is he's got such a badass power. And I think the fact that he wields his power with impunity is what makes him such a great villain. And the fact that he has his reasons for being a villain. I'm going on a rant. The reasons for him being a villain are good reasons for being a villain. He has one of the best villain backstories of any, fucking superhero, where most people, they want to like kill the world, or like dad was mean to them, but he survived the Holocaust and he's seen the atrocities of man and he wants to kill fascism. So yeah, that's a badass scene.
Trauma.
But
It's really a movie about trauma. If you think about it, it's about trauma.
So you bring up an interesting point, Michael, and I would love to continue this debate, or at least get your opinion. What do you think? Because on this watch, I had forgotten this line. Because the whole reason he kidnaps Rogue is so that she can operate the machine and not Magneto. And Wolverine calls him out. It's like, if you were so righteous, you would just use this machine and just die for your cause. So where does that fit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree with Wolverine there. It's actually, now that you call it out, that's like the thinnest part of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They could have pulled any other. Like literally, it could have been like, no, he could have been like, we're both gonna die. I need Rogue to take my powers so we can to double
boost,
up in powers and do it. Like, come on, that's what it like. And then movie plot armor, whatever. Like Magneto can still survive at the very end or whatever. But yeah, that's like the thinnest thing, and it doesn't. I mean, let's be real, the whole radiation centrifuge thing doesn't make any sense at all. Why does magnet power translate into genetic mutation? Like,
who built this machine? Who built it?
Yeah.
Did Toad build it? Did Mystique? Who built this?
I mean, I'll give him a pass there because whatever. But yeah, I agree with Wolverine there. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't Magneto is such a zealot in every other property of like, you can get into Days of Future Past and stuff like that, but he's always been kind of militant about his devotion to the Brotherhood of Mutants. That it's like, yeah, why wouldn't he sacrifice himself?
Yeah, fair. I'm gonna do us all a favor, and I'm gonna skip this section of the movie, the whole Cerebro thing. I'm just gonna say this: if you were gonna introduce the X-Men to the world, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't need Cerebro. There's a great Cerebro plot in X2. That's great. I did not need, I hate Cerebro. It's so nerdy and dumb. How do we find mutants? Well, I go into this big sphere, put on this little skull cap thing, and there's the mutant.
We took over Epcot, and we're in the Epcot ball, and here we are.
I'm like, just hire a private investigator.
It kind of looked like a beer funnel.
A beer funnel. Yeah. Yes. I'm just like, hire Veronica Mars. She'll find everyone. Anyway, so let's just cut to the Statue of Liberty. Okay, Stephanie Branco, who's your favorite matchup in this final fight? Wolverine, Mystique, Storm, Toad, Jean Grey and Toad?
Wolverine, Mystique. Love that. And I love that little wink Mystique gives. Like, haha.
That, and I love when she's pretending to be Wolverine. She does a little kissy thing, like to him. Oh. This is a serve. Famke Janssen, watch this scene. This is how you fucking serve in a movie. Jesus fucking Christ. Give me face, give me leg, give me flips, give me everything. Rebecca Romijn, she earned getting 1-2 lines in the next movie. She is like, oh, you want me to be nude? I'm going to fucking give you everything. God damn, she's so good in this movie.
So good.
Michael Skarstan, rumor has it you were the writer's assistant to Joss Whedon, another bad name to say. You were a big supporter of the line that Storm says. Can you, for our listeners, can you tell us the line Storm says to Toad? and give us your best reenactment of it.
You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning? And then she pauses for a good 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that happens to everything else. Then she fucking hits him with lightning. And people hate this line. I don't hate it. It's such an anti-joke. It's so just like it's like fucking good for you. And I appreciate that they don't comment on how bad it is in the movie. I feel like, when Josh was like, this is how I would have written it. She would have delivered that line, and then fucking Ant-Man would have come in and been like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And then they would have just like tagged it 6 different times with a bunch of different jokes. But I don't hate it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I don't write anti-jokes myself. They're so easy. I love them. But maybe it's her delivery, because she's still in like this whisper mode of like, how would I deliver it? Stephanie Branco, how would you deliver that line?
As her, or as like, this is...
If you were cast as a problematic casting of Storm, which everyone would hate, but you got the part and you still have to deliver the line, give me your read on this. This is a line read. We haven't done these in a while.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here she is, Stephanie Branco as Storm.
You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
Ooh.
I don't know. How is it?
That's good. You put some stank on it. I like it. Yeah. It's like you're like really going to step on that toad.
Yeah, that I actually go back. That is the way that line should be read. Because that line read builds a little more tension than the way our good friend Hallie is doing.
Yeah, our best friend.
Our best friend.
Did I get the part?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Check avail. All right. So what else can I slay? I mean, they defeat all the underlings and then they're captured. Magneto's like, Sabretooth, you're my only defense. I'm like, he's the worst one. Like, even Toad would be a better, like, send Sabretooth out first.
What is Sabretooth's power? He can jump and punch hard? He can jump hard, punch hard?
I do believe he can jump and punch hard, but he also has the same healing abilities as Wolverine. But it's just, he literally came out, his mutation, he got the nails and the teeth. And he looks like a human lion. What was that movie, Beauty and the Beast? The TV show Beauty and the Beast. From the 80s.
The Queeby original Beauty and the Beast.
Queeby. Queeby is in the house. All right, the bad guys are defeated, but then there's this whole like spinning thing, and like Storm and Jean levitate Wolverine. Didn't like how all the men told the women what to do and how to use their powers. Like, wouldn't they know best? Why didn't they come up with it? Anyway, Wolverine saves Rogue. Cyclops shoots the machine. The humanity's safe. Blah, blah, blah. There's a little moment where Jean Grey has like a tiny little orgasm after she uses her powers. And it's like, what do I feel? And that's for another podcast. We'll talk about that later. Rogue has the white swipe in her hair. Wolverine is like on a mission to go find out his past. And he's like, hey, baby, I'll be back. And I'm like, back away. Back away from her. And yeah, the X-Men will live to fight another day. Oh, and Mystique is now Senator Kelly incognito.
Oh, yes.
Anything else that I'm missing? Any final thoughts about this movie? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Stephanie's got her pen up. What's up?
No, I just can't believe Magneto didn't check in with his science project. Like, hey, did this actually work?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess he thought because she was still alive that he was like, I guess it failed.
Oh, with the senator. Like, let me check in
yeah.
and find out.
Yeah, he feels like, well, he fully let him go. Yeah.
He's like, all right, yep, my machine works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got no other. I'm going through my notes and I realize half of these are just Halle Berry hot. Hugh Jackman hot.
Would you Cerebro?
What about Cerebro?
Would you put on the hat? Would you?
I would never put on that hat. It's too gaudy.
For
Would you-
like sketch comedy ideas, sure. Throw it on. See, try to tap into the collective unconscious. See what's now.
I will say, last thing I'll say about this movie, I love the plastic prison that Magneto's in, and they're playing chess with the glass things. This again, when I was watching it, when they're wheeling Professor X out, I wish he was like shouting back Magneto, "Yeah, you punk ass bitch, I beat you. Stay in your plastic bubble. You can't do nothing to me. I can read your mind." I wish Professor X was just more hyped about himself. I hate how noble he is.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. Stephanie, is your hand raised?
Also with chess, as a well-known trophy chess connoisseur.
Okay.
How do you play with someone who
Can read your mind?
can read their mind and their next step? How does that work? Is chess?
I think that's why Magneto hates it. He's like, "Fine, I'll play chess with you. You're just gonna read my mind."
Maybe that is Professor Xavier's passive aggressive way of saying, like, I got you, bitch. Now I'm forcing you to play an unwinnable game.
Yeah.
Is BS deeper than we think?
No, I think no. I mean, maybe. I will say Stephanie's earring just flew off of her ear. I will say my final thought about this movie, I guess when I first watched it, I was a little closeted boy, and now that I'm a full ass flaming homosexual man, the queer coding is much more clearer to me, and I do think that comes from BS, especially with Rogue and Wolverine, of like, the queer mentorship and meeting an older mutant, an older gay, and kind of using them as a guide to like help you navigate these waters. That's really cool and powerful, and that's all I have to say about that. But now is the time for our favorite segment of This Week and Every Week, a Fuck, Marry, Kill X-Men edition. This is the segment where we fuck, marry, and kill 3 people from the movie that we watched. I'm going to be very specific with the X-Men because there's so many characters, but I think the 3 that made an impact on me, I would say, on the docket this week is Professor Xavier, Magneto, and of course, Mystique. I'll go first to give my guests time to think about their answers, but for me, it's going to be real easy. I'm going to kill Professor X. Sorry. I think he's too noble. I think he is a smug little bitch. And I think if we could read his mind, we wouldn't like him as much as we think we do. Thank you for putting all this together, but we're good. And also, you won't take the necessary steps to fully win. So get out of here. I'm going to fuck Magneto because I think that would just be, I don't want to be with him every day because he's a little too intense and, might destroy the world. But, I think that could be a very magnetic experience for me. And I'm going to marry Mystique because the girl knows how to serve and she can look like anyone I want her to look like. So it's going to be different every day. She'll surprise me every day. And then, on weekends, she'll be her blue self and I'll deal with that. But, like, hey, honey, can you turn into Hugh Jackman? Great. Can you turn into James Marsden? Perfect. Can you turn into James Marsden with the glasses? Awesome. I'm not saying it's the right answer, but it's the answer that makes sense for me. Stephanie Branco, I would love to go over to you. Your fuck, marry, kill picks, please.
So, fuck, you would just fuck once, right?
Yes. One night only, una noche.
And if you're married, do married people fuck?
Yes.
Okay. So, again, I will kill Professor X because, excuse me, you were sleeping during the whole movie. Okay.
Don't get me started.
Where were you? I think Magneto exactly will bring some like hot fire.
Yeah.
Fuck category. I think he'll really like his anger, his goals will really be there for me. So fuck Magneto. And again, I will marry Mystique, similar to you, Damon. A new person every day or the same person. Let's try something new. Like, wow. The world's your oyster.
Damon Royster. This makes sense to me. Michael Skarstan.
I would fuck, marry, and then kill Xavier. I'd fuck him, I'd marry him, and then I'd
kill him. Okay. I think that's fair. That's your path to killing. Then
Yeah,
it's still your kill choice, but that's
just how every
fine.
marriage goes. No,
Oh, no.
I do think same. I went into the saying I'd fuck Mystique first because I'm just like, obviously, right? Mystique, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
come on. Oh my God. Oh my God. But you got Stephanie, you bring up a great point. Mystique, if you're married, you can have sex as often as you want. Yeah, I'm gonna kill Wheels. 2023. I said it.
Wow. We're trying it out.
Yeah. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. Ableism. I'm so sorry.
I've heard worse on this podcast.
Yeah, no, we'll kill Professor X because like you're boring me. I feel like I would come home and I'd be like, you want to talk shit about like this guy at work, and he'd be like, everybody has problems. Everybody has their own internal turmoil that they must deal with. 100%. And it's like, yeah, but today I just need you to listen to me talk shit about Daniel. Okay, so we're gonna kill him with a hammer. You guys can specify how you kill him. And then I think Magneto would be great for like a dark midnight cowboy type experience, in New York. And then Mystique,
has to be in New York.
Yeah, seems fun. And yeah, it could be anyone you want. Be Agent Cooper from Twin Peaks, or any other of the characters from Twin Peaks.
Interesting. Agent Cooper, Twin Peaks, that was your number one.
Yeah, that's number one. That's top of the list. So yeah, I think we're aligned here on who deserves to die.
Beautiful. This is a goocher. This rarely happens with this. So beautiful, fuck, marry, kill. Okay, real quick. Let's go through people's socials, anything coming up, and then also just for added fun, what would your mutant power be? At the end of that. So Stephanie Branco, where can we find you online? Anything coming up, and what would your mutant power be?
My mutant power would be probably reading minds. Maybe it's my Scorpio moon. I need to know everything.
I'm a Scorpio moon. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, cool. And where can we find you online?
On Instagram at Stephanie Jimenez Branco.
Beautiful. All right, Michael Skarstan, socials and mutant power.
You can find me on basically all socials at Pizza Skarstan. I'm interesting, and the thing about me that I like is pizza. Also, Dreamboat Comedy, sketch comedy group that Damon used to direct. And in terms of superpower, I would go with luck. There's some superpower that has extreme luck that I always think is like a super interesting superpower. Domino. And so I'd go with that. I like that.
Nice. My mutant ability has not changed for years. I would love to be able to walk through walls. You're untouchable. And I'm Damon Royster. You can follow this podcast at podcast616P3 on Instagram. That P3 stands for Press Play Podcast, our podcasting network that allows us to talk about X-Men all summer long. Michael, producer Michael, could you hop on the mic? What letter grade would you give this podcast?
I'm giving you another A++. I really liked it.
Love it. A++. A++. 1+ for Stephanie, 1+ for Michael Skarstan. Thank you, producer Michael. Thank you, Michael the guest, and Stephanie Branco. Thank you for being here. This is podcast 616. We'll be back next week with more superhero content. And don't forget that with great power comes even greater responsibility.